Peter, thanks for joining us here today.
Happy to be here.
So Tom Brady, he's been on the front of the newspapers, on ESPN.com quite a bit over the last few years, and I think Pats fans are pretty happy that he's back now. But let's talk a little bit about what got us here.
Yeah, absolutely. What the commentators miss, Greg, is really this was a pretty straightforward case under commissioner's authority. In the NFL, as opposed to the other two leagues, the commissioner is really the judge, jury, and executioner in this case for conduct detrimental, which is really where the Deflategate incident arose. It's Article 46 of the collective agreement, and all players agree to be bound by it by signing the uniform player contract. Section 15 of that contract, back to back with Article 46, says, hey, look, if I engage in conduct detrimental, it's up to our commissioner to decide at the first instance what punishment I should receive, and then upon appeal, either the commissioner himself or his designee determines whether that suspension should be upheld. So it's pretty straightforward to those who really know the law, different for those who comment on it without knowing the law, that the outcome was very likely that the commissioner's authority would be upheld here.
And what got us here is some footballs were evidently deflated during a very important playoff game.
Allegedly.
And that was the conduct detrimental.
That was the conduct detrimental. I assume, you know, there is a limit, 11.5 to 12.5 psi. Actually, this was negotiated some time ago, where some quarterbacks like them near the bottom, or some Aaron Rodgers likes them near the top limit, and Brady had expressed a clear view that he liked near the 11.5. And really, the debate about Deflategate was, did he instruct people to go below the 11.5? And of course, for those who didn't know it, at halftime, DeQuell Jackson had intercepted a ball in that game and brought it to the sideline. It was well under 11.5, and they tested all of the Patriots' balls at halftime, and they were all below the minimum range. So hence the investigation, the Wells report, the ensuing litigation challenging commissioner's authority, and the ultimate on appeal, the upholding of the 4-game suspension.
How did this case get into the court system?
Okay, so after the final binding arbitration in front of Commissioner Goodell, the NFLPA and Mr. Brady went to the court system and asked that that suspension be vacated. So it was not suing the league so much as it was asking for a vacation, a vacatur in legal terms, a vacation of the final binding arbitration award for lots of legal reasons. And
as you said, you know, not the commentators, but the people who really understood the law had it right.
Very, very strange when Judge Berman at the federal district court level, so in our federal district court system, you start there, Judge Berman said, you know what, the NFLPA and Mr. Brady are right. The commissioner overstepped his bounds. He went beyond his authority. He you know, he gave a 4-game suspension when it wasn't warranted, et cetera. And then it was appealed to the Second Circuit Court of Appeals, which has jurisdiction over the Federal District, Southern District in New York. And in a 2-to-1 decision, it was reinstated. It was reinstated, the 4-game suspension, because of what I said before, that by contract, Mr. Brady agreed to be bound by the final arbitration award entered by the commissioner. And
when we think and we talk about sports law, this seems, in this conversation here, I mean, this is collective bargaining and some procedure as it worked its way through the courts. So can you talk about kind of the areas of law in which this case touched on?
Yeah, absolutely, Greg. Well, I mean, really, you got to be a great contracts attorney. You got to be a labor lawyer to understand the intricacies of this, and you have to be able to go to court and understand how civil procedure works. All those things all come together being a good commercial sports lawyer, and there really is no such thing as a sports lawyer. There's people who specialize in each of these areas, and then there are people who are great commercial lawyers, great litigators, great contract draftspersons. You have to bring it all together. You know, either a team of people or yourself, by developing your skills over the years, to be able to do 1, 2, or maybe be a 3-tool player.
Right. And in terms of the posture of the case right now, nobody's appealing anymore. It's finally been put to rest. Do you see any kind of precedential value here moving forward?
It's huge. Well, they sought the PA, the NFLPA, and Mr. Brady sought what's called an en banc hearing. So again, back to your procedural point. That is, let the rest of the Second Circuit hear this case. Maybe they'll see it differently than the 3 judges, 2 in favor and 1 dissenter, of upholding Commissioner's authority. So that was the end of that. The en banc hearing was denied. But over in the Eighth Circuit, almost at the same time, Adrian Peterson's suspension was upheld. So we have two federal circuits, which is one step away from the Supreme Court, upholding commissioner's authority. So I think it's very clear. Commissioner's authority in the NFL is very, very clearly established. I don't see many more challenges coming up anytime soon in the court system to Commissioner Goodell's authority, for better or worse.
All right, and there's Deflategate.